Yo, yo, yo. Power Love. Today's live session, I'm going to be talking about music. Well, what is music? What is music to me? You know, being a musician, right? What it means to make music and the process of making music, um, the importance of music, of course. And of course, and I also talk about some of the songs that I created. So, music, I believe, is essential to the world, to everyday life. It brings that character, that emotional character, dramatic entertainment kind of, you know, it just brings more depth to everything that you're doing. And there's variations of music in all cultures. And so the importance of music is the fact that it's able to get you through a lot of situations. If you're depressed, you can come out of depression just because of music, you know? Um, there are many, many different things that, you know, a lot of people do just to get by with different types of music. So, the importance of music helping you get through a lot of, trials and tribulation. Creating music also, makes money as well if you know the business side of music. So, I mean, it helps, you know, give you emotions to, get you through the rough times. And money wise, as a musician, you can see by the streams, the views, right? The more money you want, the more music you have to make and market, right? So you advertise the music, you have to market the music. It's a lot harder if you only have like one song, right? You have to make an album, epic, and then a full album as well. Um, the thing is, a lot of music has everything to do with the melody. You know, melody of the music helps you to write the songs, right? So a lot of times, right? Because I created G minor and it's a classical single, and right, G minor reminded me of, like, back in the days in music class when we were listening to Beethoven and Mozart. And my favorite Beethoven is um, Moonlight. It's a C major Moonlight. So a lot of times that reminded me of freedom, basically of situations that created revolution. It's sort of like revolution kind of method because it basically influenced me to create G minor ultimately later on in my life. Because, the way I process music is if I listen to the music, I sort of gel to the music to understand the vibrations of it, because that gives you the influence, and it sort of puts you in a state of mind. And when you're in a state of mind, you're able to be influenced, right, by, your surroundings. And so in creating G minor, it reminded me of me listening to classical music, Beethoven, Mozart's, you know, these two classical legends, that were back in the days, centuries away, right? They influence to the point that it's still relevant to today. Study music, right? Music that flows and affects the mind, because a lot of times the influence of the mind, right, is by the music, right? The music and every melody carries a message, and that message is what helps you to move on, to understand, to cope with times. It changes. It what's it called? It also helps you to sort of create a future, because yes, we as humans, right, the physical, mental, and spiritual has an aspect of influence. But in order for that concept to work, right, an influence have to come from somewhere. You see what I'm saying? It's like you're going to a job. The job, right, that you're going to, if you don't have experience, the person that have experience is more pro to be able to get the job, because they have worked in that kind of field environment before. And so it's easy to be transparent to that person. You see what I'm saying? So it's the same thing. The influence is from the music. And because the influence is from the music, it helps to bring out a lot of creativity, because the music is the life, is the direction. You see what I'm saying? So, because it has waves, waves create an influence, and it creates a chemical change, right? And so because it creates a chemical change, it's able to influence our minds to be able to behave a certain way, to do certain things. You see what I'm saying? So that's what happens in a lot of cases where you see so much people being affected in different various ways, and you wonder how come they're being affected. A lot of times, right, the one thing that people, have time for is music, listening to music, no matter what, right? Because you can listen to music while you're studying, while you're working out, exercising, while you're driving, on the go, while you're sleeping. So you can do it all around. Everything that you're doing, you can have a form of music. And so it's beneficial because it's all purpose, right? In every season, every occasion, every single day of the year, there is a type of music, type of influence from the music. And so music becomes the center of the life. You see what I'm saying? Because you have to understand, think about it. God, our creator, wants us to worship him. Now, in what form, right? And so you see that David, right, formation of influence was dominantly making music, and how he worshiped through, his guitar, or, you know, how he worshiped through the things that, he wrote about God. He had a melody. He sang, he flew. But you see, the flow created a vibrational pattern that was able to be accepted by God. Because vibrations, right, goes back to, is the same thing physically like waves. Waves in a pool. And you know the levels of waves because there's so much different waves, right? Stronger and tighter waves. And those waves are very powerful, and they take whatever. Sometimes they swallow ships, destroy whatever, right? And most likely, if you're caught up in a wave, you're going to die because it's so strong, you know? And so, waves create a situation, even if it's by force, because, on a calm water levels, right, there's still vibrations, and a ship or a boat or, whatever skidoo, all of them can flow underwater. But when waves come now, those who are experienced might get away so that they won't sink or they won't die, but majority of the people will not survive the waves. And so that is telling you physically as an influence. Now music creates vibrations that you cannot physically see. Only under certain special circumstances, right? With special tools and technology, may you see the pattern of the waves that the music is projecting. But most likely, you're not going to see it, but you're going to feel it. You're going to be influenced by the music. And when you're influenced by the music, what happens? It gives you a thought process. You feel a way. You think a way. You act a way. You see what I'm saying? So it controls your behavior because it is feeding you something either you like or you don't like, for you to be expressive to the message that you're not physically seeing but you're hearing and feeling. Right? There's a reason why the tunes have a pattern. The tunes have hertz. So the 808s, right, can be organized. It's sort of, it can be tooled in a way where it can send you messages. There's reasons why you like certain songs and you don't like certain songs, right? Because it hits you in different parts of your mind, giving you a different type of energy. So if it's a negative influence that the 808s is created or has been constructed to be created, because it's how the producer, right? How the producer, the mixer, puts together that production. The engineer, it's about them. But then they're working with a systematic style, right? Where they can scientifically create, just a pattern that your brain loves. Because all music, right? There is potentially an audience for all music. Because you see, some might say, oh, it's not good. But then a couple billion people in the next side of the world can say, yo, that music is great. And a lot of artists, I find that when they create music, they feel like if it's 1 or 2 years outdated, oh, the music is not in anymore. But guess what? It's not like that. anymore. And music, if you create a classic or you create something that is very influential, positive, the life in the music continues forever and ever, right? So it's always going to be great to be influential, to be positive towards. But nowadays, right, there's so much negative music, you know, that it gets to a level where you're like, okay, I understand that this type of music is being created because it's art and it's showing a certain level of, power, level of creativity and understanding. But is that the only thing that can be created by such artists? Because you see, for them to be that creative and that graphic and that influential, I think if they used it to be more creative, they will be subject to be more influential international artists, because you already got a stage. And believe me, even to have one video that's 1 million views, right? Real million views. Let's face it, there's various ways of marketing. And lots of people create a certain, vision for others to fish, to catch, right? So it's part of business. But if you gotten 1 million spins, even on your channel, that's still influential. And there's a vast amount of people you have actually influenced and changed the way they think. Or because in the time of the music, the timeline, when a person's listening to the music, from the beginning to the end. So the people, the amount of people that's able to watch and or listen to the music to the end, right, have been influenced, whether they know it or not, because it has a certain melody that keeps you going, right? And the melody is always the influence before the command. There is always a tune. Just like how there's a trumpet sound, right? There's always a tune. The tune is what brings forth the 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 life, the situation. So let me know what you guys think. Once again, G minor is available on all platforms. I also have a lot of other music like Reggae X, Tonic. It's a soundtrack, right? I have basically a lot of music. So I just encourage you guys to check out my profile, subscribe to my content, like, comment, share, of course. And yeah, we're just on here. So let me know, right? Building my channel. Help me to get to 1,000 subscribers, man. Thank you for everything. Peace out.